Hello and welcome to another video. So today we're taking a look at the Tenko Shire deck. This is of course very popular, especially in the competitive community. Of course it is a Summit hybrid build, but obviously if you're just looking at it, you can tell Summit is more of a bonus to this deck than it is anything else. And things like Red Hot Boots are definitely more of a solid tech card than anything. Most of the deck is relying on a pretty solid Tenko engine with nice heals and really stops most aggro decks or big decks from being able to beat you down, especially things like Puppet Portal, which is usually what this deck is designed to defeat in tournament settings, at least from what I have seen of the deck. And Tenko Haven is definitely one of my favourite Haven decks. I've always loved control Haven decks, and this is one that does really well, so we're going to get right into it and check it out. So our first matchup is against Portal, and we are going second, which, you know, isn't a bad spot to be in against Portal as Haven. We don't start out with the best cards though, although this is a little bit better now that we have the White Fang Temple. Haven definitely likes to play a slow early game with a very strong mid to late game. That seems to be what Haven has always really done, excluding, I guess, Storm Haven, which was never honestly the best aggro deck, to me at least. I know some people really enjoyed it. I was always more partial to the control style Haven decks. If I wanted to play aggro, Blood was my class back then, but it's been a long time. I mean, it's almost been 2 years. We're going to be coming up on it in a couple months since I started playing this and doing videos for you guys. It's always been a lot of fun. So, as you can see, starting off pretty solid. Lucky our opponent hasn't really played anything, which was quite a surprise to me. They've either really bricked their hand or they're just waiting for a reactive play. They just really haven't played anything that could be considered a threat at this point, so not really a big issue. They do get this Spinaria play, which is good. I mean, at this point that pretty much locks the board here for me. My best chance really is Tenko, as getting Tenko out is really what you want to do, so once you can get it down, it's always a nice thing. I tried to set up the chance to remove the Spinaria. Unfortunately, my ping luck on this one wasn't quite as good as some of my other matches have been in the past. But that's the odds. Sometimes they don't always go your way. And there is the Iron Sniper, so they did get it set up. It did take them a little while, but they got there. And turn 6 isn't exactly my removal turn yet, so I've really got to waste a little bit of cards here to get this removal going. At least we are going to trigger our White Fang Temple at the end of this turn, meaning we will have that 6/6 pop out. Along with the fact that we're going to have a full board clear, and we've set up a couple of really nice amulets. And turn 7 we actually have Beacon of Salvation if we need it, if they remove this 6/6. They do get the Loco, which, I mean, it's not the best thing for us because we don't really have many options other than to leave it up. Obviously throwing an Evo on it is probably the best one because it does mean I can remove the 2/2 and that will give us the effect, so why not? Actually, do decide to go face because the 2 damage of course is easier to remove. Thinking about that logically, that's the way you want to go with it. You want to send the 3 damage to face so that you can get maximum damage that turn, instead of trading it off. Plus it keeps the bear at full health, which actually isn't that bad for us right now. So they are getting a lot of ping damage in. Luckily we have got a reasonably set up heal right now. Decent removal. And a nice gem princess is going to really set this board up. I mean, we're going to have heals every turn. We get 2 heals in this turn alone, which means we're going to get at least 4 damage on this puppet player. Really solid damage. And we've set up a really nice ward that's only down 1 HP from where it began. Plus the 6/6. So you really can't go too wrong with this. Even if they do manage something like Orthrus, we're going to be pretty okay. Orcus can't do too much against this. And Roboni isn't really great either for them. So we don't have any huge way to really remove this. Like, we can just throw the Purge. Actually, sorry, Beacon of Salvation. I completely forgot that was a thing. That actually gets us the ping, plus the 6 to face, and the heal next turn. So we're actually going to set them to 1. Which is great. I completely missed the Beacon of Salvation when I was looking at this. Obviously I didn't miss it when I played it because we played it out, but Yeah, sometimes when I'm looking at these I think, oh, you know, where are we going? And the next match is actually a Haven versus Haven match. No shocker there. Again, Haven is fairly popular still, so it's not a surprise it's on ladder a lot. Double Mori and Gem Princess is not what you want. Good openers include Globe of Stairways and Mori. They're the kind of cards I like to personally go for. And Jeweled Priestess isn't bad as a 2-drop because it does allow you to pretty much set your board up. Fortunately, our opponent went first and had Stairway, which is really not what you want in a Haven Mirror for them to have the optimal Stairway play, as it does put them slightly ahead of us. Princess Snow White, again, a little disappointing because I do have to get rid of that. We don't want to leave Snow White up, so if we can remove it without too much of a tempo loss, that's how we want to go. And now we actually get our chance to play our Jeweled Priestess. I'm surprised they didn't decide to go for their own play. I'm guessing because they went for the Black Diamond, so I can pretty predictively say that that's probably what they went for. Otherwise you would have played White Diamond to get the extra draw out earlier. Early Summit, at least allowing them to trade, so I mean that's pretty good for them. We are going to probably overdraw this hand because we're going to have too many cards. So we're actually going to take ourselves up to 7. Which is a little disappointing because it does mean we're going to overdraw 1 next turn. And that's really not what you want to be doing with this deck because burning things like Tenko is absolutely killer. Marches tea time, going for that kind of token deck I guess. I'm assuming they're not running a full Tenko build. I'm assuming it's more summon orientated, their variation. Just based on what they've played. And that's okay, that's still extremely popular too, and of course we burn our Tenko, the one card you don't want to burn in this matchup, and we managed to burn it right off the top. So I do decide that getting this kill is going to be more important. I mean, getting rid of the 5-2, that's not affected by Summit Temple, and leaving the 3-1 at 1 means they're only going to get the 1 damage out of it anyway, even if they attack with it. So Gemstone really wasn't going to be a problem. And long term for us, we're pretty right as far as things go. We've secured our Gem Princess early, so we get constant healing. It's also a really nice ward at this stage. And they only have 1 board slot left this turn, but I mean Darkhind does change that slightly. And it's a really nice removal setup. So now we have quite a big board we have to deal with on turn 7. Kind of lucky for us, we do have Janine, which means we can get rid of this 5-6 and just leave them with a couple of 2 damage followers. So, I mean, sometimes Summit Temple will work against players like this, so you do have to be careful when you play it. A lot of people won't drop Summit Temple until they've decided they've got a nice Gemstone or Hind on board already that they can use, or they're forced to use it. That, or they're going for the pure damage in the Heavenly Knight plays. As you do end up in situations like this that can become very dangerous very quickly. So do you go the Heavenly Knight to face? Not a big shocker. We get another chance to play Beacon of Salvation. Unfortunately we can't remove this time, as that would have been the bigger play for us. So they are going to knock us down fairly hard. They are going to get another Heavenly Knight. Luckily this one doesn't get Storm, being a summon. So we're definitely at a huge disadvantage now. Not where you want to be at all. Luckily the top deck Purge, clearing out the board makes it very hard for them to kill me off this turn, unless they can manage to get exactly what they needed off the top. Which doesn't look like is going to be the case, otherwise they would have played the Heavenly Knight last turn. And as far as things go right now, all we can really do is draw up, play our Heavenly Knight as a really solid defense to block out any potential threat, and heal up just slightly. So really we're just betting on the fact that they can't remove this Heavenly Knight effectively. Which, as far as things go, looks to be the case. Which, I mean, is good for us, definitely good for us. Not so good for them. So we get the White Fang Temple, which is at least going to allow us to heal a little bit quicker. But we go for the Mori for the draw because I'm really digging for some really quick healing would be better. And the Heavenly Knight was there also a guaranteed play, and this way the Mori isn't going to be a big problem for us. So I get a chance to go for the Tenko play with the White Fang Temple, taking us up to 5 health in the next turn. Puts us just out of range of any kind of quick small damage they might be able to somehow pump out. And they still haven't managed to get the 3rd Heavenly Knight, which is great for us. It's the only real threat to us at this point. And after this turn, it's not really going to be a threat anymore. And our ward, of course, will block the any potential damage there. So, luckily, being able to take ourselves to 8 is pretty much perfect. Plus, the triple heal does give us 6 damage to their face. So, we've really turned this game around. We got a little lucky that they didn't top deck their Heavenly Knight, which, I mean, when you look at their odds, it wasn't extremely high. It still was going to be a 1 in almost 20 chance in the last few turns for them to actually draw it out. They finally get their Heavenly Knight. So, glad that we managed to set up that ward and managed to get out of range of their healing, as that really helped us. We've already got the Purge, so we can pretty much remove this board with 0 issues. And I also decided to play the Jeweled Priestess out, because we are going to get the 6/6 proc this turn anyway. Which means if they don't deal with the 6/6, they lose. These White Fang Temples are definitely strong cards. They definitely made the Tenko deck a lot more powerful. I was a little worried they were going to be weak in Unlimited, where, you know, other cards can just be better for healing. But as far as getting a 6/6 body on board, they are an amazing card. And in rotation, they do absolutely amazing work, as you can see. We're already back up to 11, which has put us at a substantial lead. They dealt with the 6/6 really well. Unfortunately, the Heavenly Knight draw is going to win us the game anyway. But it was very impressive that we managed to turn an absolutely dire situation into a win. And through my own realization, as I was just going back to the deck for the finishing off this video, I did realize the deck I showed at the beginning of the video is actually my old Summit Temple deck. They're very, very similar. The only change, I think, was that I dropped the Elixir, or whatever it is, the Godsworn, from this variation. So that's really the only big difference. So this is the one that will be linked in the description below, and the one we were actually playing with at the time when I was playing those games. So just keep that in mind, just, you know, because they didn't quite match up exactly, but they are still an extremely close match, and they play identically anyway, so it doesn't really matter which one you decide to play. If you don't want to check out my old video of this, it should be about a week or so ago. It'll be very easy to find. But if you guys did enjoy the video, hit the like button and subscribe, and I will catch you guys next time. See ya.